Right, okay, it's time to go and find out who our new guest is to the absolutely wonderful Bellbridge. And it's Goth Boy. I will go into Goth Boy a little bit more later. What I'll tell you now is interests are obviously spooky, but he's also got an interest in the geeky, and he absolutely hates fun. Because obviously, being a goth, you have to hate fun. It's just the way it works. But what I was going to go on to do is discuss the towny sims that turn up at star level 3, because as happens constantly... Oh yeah, this is the map. It allows you to look at all your empty lots, look at how varied your interests are in the town, and so on and so forth. It's definitely useful for the area that we're about to go into, but for town and the forest you can probably figure your way around. Anyway, what I was going to discuss was the tiny sims that turn up at star level 3, because obviously the new sims turn up at each star level. In terms of commercial sims, from this point you get Shirley, Goth Boy, Dolly Deerheart, Master Aaron, and Chef Watanabe. At the minute only Goth Boy's turned up, but you don't know quite who's turning up anyway, so it's fine. In terms of towny sims, you have Sandra, who is a fun and studious sim who hates geeky. She loves the nightlife, and when her world comes alive, sleep is for the weak, apparently. She gives you a small framed television. She actually only appears in the original MySims. She was apparently going to turn up in MySims Agents, because there was a dialogue icon made for her, but she was completely removed. Also, that she appears on the title screen, and she has open eyes on that. But in the game, she closes her eyes. Also, there's a tiny sim called Pablo, and with Pablo, she is the only fun townie not in any other game, which is kind of sad, but townie sims weren't particularly interesting, so yeah. Also can have Matt, who is a studious and geeky sim who hates Tasty. Don't know why you'd hate Tasty, but there you go. His role is actually a game show historian. Game show contestants who come back from behind and then really nail the lightning round are what makes him happy. Best friend reward is lightning round television blueprint. And also he makes a cameo appearance in MySims Racing, cheering on the star racer, who I believe is you, but I've not played MySims Racing, so I don't know. You have Raven Wright, who is a spooky and studious sim who hates geeky. She's quite similar to Violet, except there's a bit of red in there. The best friend reward is a Raven-style hot tub. She's also the only person from MySims Wii to appear in MySims Mobile. And she shares her last name with the creator of The Sims, Will Wright. Also, apparently, she was a wedding designer, but was fired because the black lipstick wasn't traditional enough, which is kind of depressing, really. Then there's Jenny, who is a geeky and studious sim who hates spooky. She's the president of 5 science fiction clubs, 7 video game clans, and a prolific fanfiction author. She doesn't sleep. Now, although Jenny doesn't... Oh, she's actually got 2 best friend awards here. A spaceship television and also a bed. The concept art for... well, her original concept art for MySims shows her wearing a green beret, but it's much darker when it actually appears in-game. She is actually kind of... actually has a slightly larger role in MySims Agents, where she acts as your secretary, basically, which is really awesome. She becomes a lot more important in that, and she's really fun in MySims Agents. Not so much here, but definitely there. You can also have Bean Bradley, who is a former child actor, who starred in a series of baby food commercials as an infant. So that's what it is to be a former child actor. Interests are cute and fun, and he hates studious. I don't think me and him would get along. Best friend award is a wavy television. And he has a obsession with hoodies. Last of the Townie Sims is Stephen Albright, who's a geeky and fun sim who hates cute. He earned perfect grades in duct tape 101 and advanced tinkering. He will build bridges someday. Ever so slightly terrifying, that. Best render award is a bridge desk blueprint. So, making a nice little pun there, so to speak. He also makes a cameo appearance in MySims Racing. And he actually says that he invented the toaster oven alongside Dr. F, who we will meet later. Although Steven seems to have forgotten whether he actually did invent it or not. Also reveals that he actually has a crush on DJ Candy around Star Level 4. And also the fact that considering he will one day build bridges, he actually runs the minigame Build a Bridge in MySims Party. So, yeah, he's fun. Now, at this point, sort of, you can explore the majority of town. And you will have to explore the majority of town, particularly if you want to get stuff for Goth Boy, because a lot of his stuff is quite spread out. So you've got stuff that's in this really hidden bit of the forest, and you've also got stuff that's in the next area that we will be going to shortly. You can get to the most of it because of having the pickaxe, which allows you to destroy rocks. MySims PC brings exclusive Sims to Star Level 3, like Pool Owner Tad Flipper McCaffrey, Natalia Roshmanov, and Aspiring Wonderwit Wendelin, but we don't need to worry about them at all, because they are not important, because they are not in this version of the game. Anyway, let's get on with actually discussing Goth Boy himself, because Goth Boy is such a wonderful character. He's a self-proclaimed child of the night. Nothing makes him feel warmer than wrapping himself in a cloak of emotional darkness. He loves writing bad poetry. Kind of terrified if I had to do any analysis on his poetry, as I am sure that it would not go well, as I would probably cry at how bad it is. Gone, just stumbling constantly over everything. Anyway, Goth Boy may have potentially had a real name at some point. and it may have been Herman, because you can see it in an exclusive MySims walkthrough video with the executive producer Tim Letourneau, but it doesn't exist anywhere in the actual game anymore, so yeah. And also, this is the desert. It's absolutely huge. You can't explore all of it just yet, but as I've said before, you can explore the majority of it. But yeah, this place is absolutely ridiculous. You are recommended to use waypoints to find your way around here, because it's so easy to get lost, because it's so big and it kind of looks the same. Also, I'm prospecting completely the wrong place for where we need to go. I got a bit confused because this place is so big. In the intro to MySims, Goth Boy has Buddy's voice, which is weird, and it's different in the gameplay. Also, his bangs hang over his right eye in the intro, but during gameplay in every other MySims game, it hangs over the left eye. His actual voice type is actually Grandma Ruthie's, so Goth Boy has a woman's voice, but it's a much lower pitch. Also, he has a teardrop in the bottom left corner of his shirt, which doesn't appear in any other game. It's to show how deeply emotionally scarred he is as a human being, and how the entire world is black and hates him. Also, as you will see, sort of eventually, he has 3 paintings on his wall called Mortimer, Bella, and Alexander, which are the names of the members of the Goth family in The Sims 2. One of those is totally not a reference to a particular terribly... well, I can't say much about how well it's written, but a certain book series that became stupidly popular, featuring a character of the same name. It's totally not related. At least I bloody hope it's not related. Either way, something that makes no sense to bring up at this point, but also just shows the extent to which a certain fanbase just exudes across time and space. Somebody, very clever person, noted that Goth Boy wears mostly black with some white, and has a red highlight in his hair. Also, technically, in his hair, you can see sort of a sort of white streak. So this is completely, totally, intentionally meant to be the same colours as Shadow the Hedgehog's fur from Sonic the Hedgehog. It's totally what was going to happen. But there we go. Don't quite know why someone felt the need to point that out. Black, white and red kind of are decent colours to use, but oh well. Anyway, if you want to get... I mentioned earlier in the playthrough, I believe, like garnets and all the gems that are the stupidly rare gems. They are literally just kind of to the north of the area where that tree is. And that's literally the only place where you will find them, and they are not necessary for anything anyway. Yeah, I don't get why the Sonic the Hedgehog fanbase decided they needed to impose something Sonic related onto MySims. But there you go, it happens. It's hardly surprising because I guess black, white and red is kind of Shadow the Hedgehog now. It's ingrained into popular culture. Just as kind of red and white, it's Mario. Blue is Sonic. What other wonderful colour stereotypes we've got? Green is Link. More green than white, but green. Dark green is like Master Chief. black is probably someone from Gears of War. Yeah, Let's call it stereotypes anyway. They're the portraits that I was talking about. Now, I don't quite know why they decided to classify Gothboy as a commercial sim, because he's not exactly going to be doing any hardcore work selling stuff. But I guess it'd be nice to have a writer in town. I certainly prefer someone who didn't write dark poetry, but there we go. Now I kind of... Oh, Gothboy, don't cry! I didn't mean to insult your profession. I'm not insulting poets, I'm just kind of saying, why do we need a dark poet in Bellbridge? We want a happy town. Oh, I feel bad. I'm sorry. Stop crying at me. I'm just gonna go build your stuff now. Okay. I will see you in a bit. Oh dear.